Hello and welcome. Here, ordinary moments unfold slowly and without distraction. There's nothing you need to do and nowhere you need to be. You can simply listen and let the moment settle around you. This is the gentle hour. Rainy evening tea. You stand at the back door. Rain falls steadily behind you. Water darkens the stone step beneath your feet. You take the key from your pocket. The metal is cool and slightly damp. You guide it into the lock. There is light resistance as it slides fully into place. You turn it clockwise. The lock shifts with a firm click. You press the handle down and the door opens inward. The smell of home greets you. You step inside onto the mat, firmly scraping your wet soles against the stiff bristles. You close the door behind you. The wood meets the frame. The latch clicks into place. The sound is solid and contained. Another step forward into the kitchen, and you bend to grab the free ends of your laces. The left in your left hand, and the right in your right hand. You pull and both knots release with ease as you remove your boots and place them carefully onto the metal shoe rack. The soles of your boots have left faint wet marks on the tiles. You straighten slowly. You notice the feel of your socks against the kitchen tiles. The surface is cool beneath your feet. You press your feet flat against it. You feel the firmness of the floor through the thin fabric. You stand still for a moment. Rain continues outside, softer now through the glass. A small ceramic bowl sits on the sideboard near the door. You place your keys into it. Metal touches ceramic with a clear, simple clink. The sound settles quickly. On the wall, a small thermostat sits at shoulder height. You press the button. A quiet beep sounds. You turn the dial clockwise slightly. The underfloor heating switches on. You eagerly await the heat, as for now, the floor remains cool. You roll your shoulders once. They lift, then settle back down. Your arms hang loosely at your sides. You take one slow breath in through your nose. Air moves steadily into your lungs. You pause briefly. Then you breathe out through your mouth. The kitchen is quiet, aside from the steady hum of the fridge and the light tick-tick of the wall clock. It is early evening. Rain taps against the window above the sink. The light outside has faded to a flat grey. The glass is dotted with droplets. A thin line of water runs down one corner of the frame. The ceiling light is on. It casts a warm yellow tone over the room. The tiles above the counter are plain and off-white. A few marks sit near the grout. The counter is laminate, slightly worn along the edge. You rest your hand on it for a moment. It feels cool and smooth. You move to the sink, pulling the tap out slightly. Water runs in a thin stream. You place your fingers under it. The water is cool. You leave them there for a moment. You turn the handle left a little further to increase the heat. The sound deepens as the flow increases. The pipes shift quietly in the wall. The tone of the water changes again. You test the temperature with your fingertips, then your palm. It is pleasantly warm now. You press the soap pump once. There is slight resistance beneath your hand. The pump lowers slowly. A small amount of soap drops into your palm. You bring both hands together, massaging to create a creamy lather between them. You move slowly. You don't rush this. You rub your palms together, then your fingers. Each finger slides between the next. You rub the backs of your hands. Foam spreads across your skin. Your thumbs rotate into opposite palms. One thumb circles slowly, then the other. Water continues to run. You bring your hands towards your face and take a deep inhale of the scent of the soap. Lavender and bergamot, calming and clean. You hold your hands beneath the stream. Water runs over your knuckles. Foam thins and slips away. You turn your wrists upward. Water moves over the inside of your wrists, then along the backs. You watch the last of the soap rinse clean. Droplets gather at your fingertips. They fall one by one into the sink below. You turn off the tap. The rushing sound stops. For a moment, only rain against the window remains. A towel hangs on the rail beside you. You lift one end up and slide it off the rail towards you. The fabric is dry and slightly coarse. You press it against your hands. You dry one palm, then the other. Between your fingers, across your knuckles. The fabric moves across your skin. It absorbs the remaining moisture. You spread the towel out over the rail in one layer. Your hands are warm and dry. You stand at the door for a moment, looking out of the window briefly, as you notice a squirrel running down a tree, before turning back into the kitchen. The kettle sits on the cast iron grate of the gas hob. It is a rich, dark, green, enamelled metal with a curved handle and a short spout. The surface is smooth and slightly dulled near the base from use. You lift it by the handle. It has weight even when empty. You carry it to the sink and turn on the cold tap. The pipes knock once, then water runs in a steady stream. The sound of rain continues outside. The lid of the kettle pops off after you gently pull at the round, slightly textured knob. You hold the kettle under the tap. The water hits the metal inside with a dull splash. Small bubbles form along the sides. You watch the level rise halfway to the spout, enough for 1 cup. You turn off the tap. A final drip falls from the spout. You set the kettle down onto the grate and put the lid back into place with a satisfying click. You reach for the control knob at the front of the hob, pushing it in and turning it anti-clockwise. There is a soft click as the igniter sparks. Gas flows with a low hiss. A blue flame catches in a quick ring around the burner. It flares briefly, then settles into an even circle of steady blue. The flame stays lit, quiet and constant beneath the kettle. You turn the dial slightly lower. The sound softens. The hiss becomes quieter, closer to a steady breath. You turn it higher again. The flame grows stronger. The sound sharpens and fills the space beneath the kettle. You leave it somewhere in between. You watch the flame. Blue gathers at the base, close to the metal. The colour is clean and even. Near the tips, faint orange flickers appear and disappear. They shift quickly, then settle back into blue. It stays steady. The steel kettle base begins to warm. The green enamelled coating loses its cool surface. A slight change in tone comes from the metal as it heats. Inside, the water is still. Then slowly it begins to move. Tiny vibrations pass through the handle, almost too small to notice. You rest your hand there briefly. The flame continues its quiet sound, low and even. You watch the flame. Blue at the base, small orange flickers at the edge, a steady circle of heat. You let your breathing settle to match it. Inhale, slow and even. Exhale. You reach for your favourite mug. It sits on a hook beneath the cabinet. It is thick-walled, ceramic, and slightly rounded, with a rich yellow glaze. You take it down and set it on the counter. The handle is slightly warm from the room. You run your thumb along the edge. It feels solid. You open the cupboard above. Inside are tins and boxes. A blue tin of tea bags sits at the back. You pull it forward and lift the lid, which rattles backwards on the hinge. The smell of dry tea leaves rises, faint and dusty. You take one tea bag. The paper feels thin and dry beneath your fingers. The string trails over your hand. You drop the tea bag into the mug. It lands softly at the bottom. The string hangs over the rim. You close the tin and return it to the cupboard. The door creaks as you shut it. The kettle has started to hum audibly. The hum turns to a rolling, bubbling sound as the water moves inside. You lean against the counter and wait. Rain hits the window in uneven bursts. A car passes on the road outside, tires hissing on wet tarmac. You step closer to the window and rest your forehead briefly against the cool glass. As you pull your head away, you can feel the condensation on your skin. The imprint you left looks like a perfectly round circle. You lift a finger and trace a simple circle beside it. You finish off your sketch with a broad semicircle for a mouth and gently smile to yourself. A droplet gathers at the corner of the mouth and slides downward. You start to hear a faint whistling sound. Steam rises from the spout in a thin stream as the whistling increases in volume. You walk over to the kettle and transfer it over to the cool side of the hob. You turn the dial back to center to extinguish the flame. You pick up the kettle. The handle is warm. You pour the water into the mug, directly onto the tea bag. The bag flaps and swirls around, the water turning pale brown, then deeper. You set the kettle back down. A few drops fall onto the counter. You quickly wipe them away with your sleeve. Steam rises steadily from the mug. You lean close over the mug, deeply inhaling the aromatic steam through your mouth. The sensation is healing and calming. The steam has condensed on your glasses. As you rise back up, all you see is white fog. Slowly, you regain clarity from the outer edges inward until all is clear once again. You pick up a teaspoon from the drawer. The metal is cool and slightly scratched. With your left hand, you pick up the paper tab at the end of the string. Raising and lowering repeatedly, you playfully dunk the tea bag in the hot water, allowing the leaves to fully infuse. Using your right hand, you stir the tea bag slowly with a spoon. The spoon taps the side of the mug in a steady rhythm. The tea bag moves in circles, the colour deepens. You lift the bag slightly with a spoon and press it gently against the inside of the mug, squeezing out the excess liquid from the bag. With a quick swooping motion of the spoon, you raise the bag out of the mug and gently fling the used tea bag into a small ramekin at the back of the worktop. The ramekin is a faded, soft red with white polka dots and already contains several tea bags from earlier in the day. You place the spoon down and return to the cupboard that you retrieved the tea from. Inside is a small beige ceramic pot with a wooden lid. You take down this pot and pull the lid off. The seal releases with a soft breath of air. Inside glistens pure cane sugar. You dip a finger into the granules. They shift and settle around your nail. A few crystals cling underneath. You place your finger in your mouth and let them dissolve. The spoon scoots a heaped measure of sugar. Some grains spill onto the worktop with a faint tinkling sound. Most fall into the tea with a soft plop. You sweep one cupped hand over the worktop to gather the spill and hold the other hand just below the edge to catch it and carry it to the sink. You release the spilled sugar into the sink. The grit along your skin is sharp and dry. You brush your hands together until they feel smooth again. You walk over to the tall fridge and open it. The light inside is bright. A carton of milk stands on the shelf inside the door. You take it out. The plastic is cold and slightly damp with condensation. You remove the cap and pour a splash into the mug. The white milk spreads in thin clouds through the brown tea. You stir again. The colour changes to a softer tan. You watch and stir until it looks right. You lift the spoon and let the last drops fall back into the mug, tapping the spoon on the rim 3 times. You place the spoon in the sink. It lands with a light clink. You screw the cap back onto the milk and return it to the fridge. The door seals with a quiet suction sound. The kitchen feels warmer now from the steam and the light. You wrap your hand around the mug. The ceramic is hot. You adjust your grip to the handle. The warmth spreads into your fingers. You carry the mug to the small wooden table by the window. The surface has faint scratches and a ring mark from an older cup. You sit down. The chair legs scrape lightly on the floor. Rain continues outside. The window glass reflects the room back at you. The steam from the tea curls upward and fades. You lift the mug and take a small sip. The tea is hot, but not too hot. You hold it in your mouth for a moment, then swallow. You set the mug down and watch the rain on the glass. The kitchen is quiet except for the soft sound of water outside and the faint ticking of the wall clock above the door. You sit there, feet flat against the tile, feeling the underfloor heating radiating up through your soles. You hold the mug in both hands. The ceramic is warm against your palms. You lift it slowly. You take a small sip. The tea moves across your tongue. You swallow. You lower the mug, setting it down carefully on the table. The base meets the wood with a soft, solid sound. You rotate the mug slightly by the handle. Just a small turn. The handle now sits at a new angle beneath your fingers. Rain continues against the window. You look up. Water gathers near the top of the glass. Thin lines begin to form as droplets join together. Some move quickly, some stay in place. You take another sip. The mug is still warm. The tea has cooled slightly. You swallow again and place the mug back down. You watch a single droplet near the center of the pane. It grows as smaller beads merge into it. Its shape shifts. Then it begins to slide downward. You track it. slowly. It leaves a clear path behind it. Halfway down, it hesitates, then continues until it reaches the frame. Your glasses sit low on your nose. You wiggle your nose, then lift a hand to adjust them. The frame presses lightly against the bridge of your nose as you settle them back into place. You roll your shoulders once. They lift towards your ears, then drop back down. You stretch them gently backwards, then let them rest. Your feet shift against the floor. You place them flat again. The tiles are warmer now. Heat moves steadily through your socks into your soles. Your hands return to the mug. You hold it without lifting it. You take a slower breath in through your nose. Air fills your chest. You pause. Then breathe out through your mouth. Rain continues. The clock ticks. The mug sits steady beneath your hands. You remain seated. You take another quiet sip. You gaze out of the window while the evening settles in around the small room. If this time felt grounding and you'd like more moments like it, you're welcome to follow along so it's here whenever you need it. And if this episode felt especially helpful, you can save it to return to the ritual whenever you like. Thank you for being here.